We are rolling.
We're good.
We're good.
Yep.
You can hear me.
Yes.
We can hear each other. Well, after the gunshots from yesterday, I can't hardly hear anything. How's my audio?
Good.
All right. We getting comments already, or do I got to start with a question we missed from last week?
Probably from a
All right.
question from last week.
Anyhow, folks, we just came right in under the wire. Our technology here kept failing us. So about a minute ago, Michael, the guy in charge of production over here, is pulling cables, putting it back together, and all of a sudden, shoot, shoot, shoot. We thought we were going to have to tell you, sorry, no Hunt Talk, no Elk Talk live tonight. But we are here. We're rolling from Bozeman, Montana. Elk Talk Live is brought to you by these wonderful companies: Bowtech Archery, Leupold Optics, Onyx Maps, Tight Spot Quivers, Ripcord Arrow Rests, Black Gold Sights, our newest partner for starting last week, GoHunt.com, and the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. So remember, with this whole gig, if you want to get notified, text Randy, R-A-N-D-Y, to 313131. And if I seem kind of confused and scattered, it's because I spent all day yesterday helping pack moose meat out of the swamp here in Montana. If we would have been doing Elk Talk Live today from moose camp, it would have been a really, really bad signal. So I told Matthew, the guy with the tag, I said, you better kill a moose today, because tomorrow night we got to be back in Bozeman. Well, he already had one picked out, so it was easy enough. But I'm going to get to a question that we had from last week. And like I said, I apologize that we're not getting to all the questions. There are so many questions that we can't get to them all. But one of the questions last week on the Leupold page was, what's the smallest cartridge or caliber I would go to for bull elk? In other words, I wouldn't get any lower than that. And that's kind of like saying, who's your favorite football team, or what kind of truck do you drive? You're going to get a million opinions. My personal opinion is based on years and years of elk hunting and seeing all kinds of different results, some good, some bad, from me, from other hunters, whatever. For me, I'm going to stick with something that, at a minimum, bull elk, if I'm know my ranges aren't going to be far and I'm comfortable, I'll have time for good shot selection. A 25 caliber, we're talking the 257s, stuff like that, would be my absolute minimum, 25-06. And right away I know someone's going to say, well, Grandpa kills them with a 243 every year. I get that. I don't even like the 25 calibers. I'd prefer to go up to the 26 or the 227 calibers, the 270s and above. I've shot my first bull elk with a 270 using Nosler partition 150 grain bullets. A 270 will do it, but I was always very careful with my shot selection. I always made sure that I wasn't doing anything 500 yards out there. You have to know where the lethality of your weapon is. Never skimp on bullets, and never get in a hurry if you can at all help it. Try to be patient and wait for that best shot selection. So someone already chimed in here and said 30-06 is the smallest they'd use. That's fine. I get that. For me, a lot of you see me use a 308. I use a 308 a lot for elk. In fact, this year in Arizona, I shot mine with 308. When we're in Arizona, we're going down, a friend has a tag, we're going to end up, I'm sure he's going to end up using one of our 308s. So it is personal preference, but there is one thing, is just never skimp on quality bullets, and always make sure that your shot selection is really, really good. So someone else asked, have I heard anything about the new VX5 from Leupold? Yeah, I have one. In fact, we did a YouTube video of me sitting right here in this chair, unboxing it when they sent it to me last spring. I have one of those new VX5 HDs on my 308, and let's see, I shot the elk with it. We've shot 2 antelope with it. It's to die for. It is really, really good. And a lot of people will ask, well, what range do I want? Do I want a 3 power to 9 power? Do I want a 5 to 20? What do I want? 4 to 24? Whatever works best for your situation and what you use. It doesn't matter what I use. I use the Leupold gold rings, but as far as that range of variable powers, it's really whatever works for your application. Because if you're in the big woods country, say you're over in Oregon and it's just thick, nasty, ugly brush, guess what? You're going to have a different need than I am out in the plains of Montana. So, all right. It seemed too warm for archery season here in Colorado. You know what? I think it seems too warm for archery season every time I go archery hunting. But in Montana, Wyoming, Idaho, they had a lot of snow in archery season this year. And we posted a one-day video of us out there just an hour or so here from Bozeman. We were archery hunting, I think it was September 15th or 16th. And it was cold. It was rain mixed with snow. It was really, really a good day to be out there archery hunting. But it seems like a lot of people are telling me, man, it's been too hot. When I was in New Mexico last year, it seemed like it was way too hot. For me, it doesn't matter the temperature, the moon phase, whatever. I have to hunt through it. We have this calendar where we go. So I'll be honest with you, I don't put a lot of worry into how hot it is or what the moon phase is or anything like that. It's more about being out there, having a plan, executing the plan, and hopefully the plan comes through. Most people I see, whether it's archery hunting, whether it's rifle hunting, really don't have a plan. Do you have a 5-day plan when you head to the woods? This is what I'm doing day 1. This is what I'm doing day 2, day 3. If those 3 days don't work out, well, here's days 4 and 5 plan. Have a plan, because if you go there without a plan, the odds are you're going to say, this didn't work, and you're going to end up having to depend on random luck. And that is never a consistent way to kill bull out on public land. We always have a plan. We got 5 days to go there, places we've usually never been to. We call it sort it out, figure it out, pack it out. Hopefully, if we do a good job of sorting it out and figuring it out, we'll be packing it out. And it's all because we have a plan. If people saw how detailed my plans are before I even get there, it'd be like, Newberg, how can you bank on that? It's mostly just e-scouting, and we've done a whole series of e-scouting videos out on our YouTube channel. And if you do that, you'll see one of them is very heavily based on this app right here. It's the Onyx Hunt phone app, the smartphone app. Oh, and speaking of which, they just released in the last week where now you can share waypoints with your buddies or with camp or with whoever, you know, hey, I want my spouse to know where I'm at or whatever. You can share waypoints with the app now. So, and to make it worth your time, if you go to Onyx and you use promo code RANDY, R-A-N-D-Y, they're going to give you 20% off. So there you go. You watch the podcast, you just saved 20% on the app. The other scouting tool that we use a lot in this whole e-scouting thing to develop a plan is there's the service that's also part of the Elk Talk Live that's helping bring this to you, is gohunt.com. And between now and the end of the month, so what do we got? We only got 6 days left. If you sign up for their 30-day free trial offer, whether you sign up today, tomorrow, or October 31st, they're going to give you 30 days to look behind the curtains, to see everything that we use, how we use it, why we use it. And I'm sure if you use it, you're going to say, wow, there is a lot of information here. And it's that kind of information. It's networking. It's using all these digital resources that give us a plan, whether it's archery, whether it's rifle. When we go there, we've got figured out in our mind what we're going to do. And it doesn't matter the weather. It doesn't matter the moon phase. It doesn't matter the hunting pressure. We're going to work that plan. And yeah, that plan has kind of, okay, if this is the case, maybe we're going to jump from option A to option F, because options A, B, C, D, and E we're all cold weather locations, or we're all, low hunting pressure or high hunting pressure locations. I mean, I went out for Michael is over here laughing. He's the camera guy. He and I went out Saturday morning, which was the opening day of rifle season here in Montana. And I told him, I said, this is like the most absolute dead ringer plan with all the hunting pressure on opening day. 2 pieces of private, strip of public in between. These are outfitted. There's always elk moving back and forth. I have no idea what happened, but there was no one in the woods. So I did this plan based on hunting pressure, and there was no hunting pressure. Well, if that was my 5-day situation where I was going to be there for 5 days, I better have an alternative of how I'm going to move and adapt to the fact that the hunting pressure was not what I thought it was going to be. So, needless to say, I didn't kill an elk on Saturday morning. But, oh well. Gives me reason to stomp around even more. All right. Oh, let's see. Someone says, if you shoot a trophy bull, don't tell the newspaper where you got it. Don't tell your buddies where you got it. Lie to them. There is nothing wrong with fibbing your friends about where you killed an elk. Nothing. I mean, if you went to hunter ed and hunter safety and all that, that's one of the first things that they should teach people. You can kind of fake it a little bit with your buddies, and you don't have to tell them everything. When do I feel the mule deer rut will start in Montana? Talk to the biologist. They tell you the peak will be sometime around November 15th, usually about a week later than the peak of the whitetail rut. So that's what most of the biologists here tell us. I can't tell you that based on certainty. It just, when I've asked the same question, that's what they've told me. And I'd say that kind of coincides a little bit with my experience, as limited as my mule deer experience is. Oh, and somebody just chimed in. This person might work for law enforcement. They said, you can fib to your buddies, but you can't fib to law enforcement. Good point. Thanks for bringing that up. How many days out of a year do I hunt? What does my wife think? Oh, no. I hope she's not watching. Michael, no, you were on the podcast in Arizona. We did the math in Arizona. This year, we're going to be on the road 109 days is what our math told us. So what does my wife think of that? She's the greatest wife in the world. If there's a form where you submit someone for sainthood, send that form to Randy Newberg, because I need to submit my wife for that. Where should we be glassing for a second season bull elk hunt in Colorado? Remember, second season bull elk in Colorado. Well, it's going on right now. Actually, spare me this one novelty. My niece, Sydney Newberg from Deer River, Minnesota, her dad, my brother, and her friend and neighbor, they went out to Colorado for the second rifle season. Opening morning, Sydney shot a 5-point bull. Ha! How's that? But she didn't do it by accident. So it gets to this question. My brother has been going out to Colorado year after year for the last few years, and this is a strategy to employ. Look at states like these over-the-counter states where you can go year after year after year and learn the country. You might not live there, but if you're there for that 5 or 7 days of a key hunting period, you have a pretty good idea what those elk are doing for those 5 to 7 days, how they're responding to weather, to hunting pressure, to everything else. Well, one thing about my family, we're bullheaded, we don't give up easy, so my brother's been going back there trying to figure it out. Last year, he almost killed the bull there. This year, opening morning, he killed the bull. Where did he go? He went to a sanctuary location. He went to a spot where he knows other hunters are not going to go, and the hunting pressure is going to push the elk towards him. And that's how Sydney killed that bull. To this question, how do you do this? Where do you glass in the second season in Colorado? Look for the sanctuaries where the bulls are going to go in response to hunting pressure. Because the second over-the-counter season in Colorado is the busiest season in Colorado. The earlier seasons, the archery, muzzleloader, first rifle, those don't have nearly the hunting pressure. Opening morning of second day of rifle season, which this year I think was October 21st or 2nd, it is just crazy in the woods. and the elk respond to that. So be glassing and hunting the areas the elk are going to go in response to that hunting pressure. And remember, we talk about those 5 calendar periods of the elk, well, their calendar. Early season, pre-rut, peak rut, post-rut is where we're at right now. Post-rut, the number one need is sanctuary and survival. Go and glass those places where a bull is going to say, you know what, I feel pretty safe here. I don't think any hunters want to come in here. That's the places where you would glass for them. Let's see. Is there a big difference in the HD spotting scope compared to the non-HD spotting scopes? I wish I could tell you. I have all HD spotting scopes. I don't have any of the non-HDs. So I can't tell you from personal experience, but I can tell you that the difference in the manufacturing is mostly, I believe, the coatings that they put on the lenses. And lenses, in a lot of instances, you'll notice that glare, distortion, the clearness around the edge, a lot of times, whether it's this brand versus that brand, or it's the same brand but different levels, a lot of it is the coatings that are on all of those surfaces. And within a spotting scope, it's not just the front surface, the objective lens, and the back surface, which is the eyepiece. There's all kinds of other surfaces in between there that the light is bouncing off. So the coatings are usually the biggest thing that makes something HD versus non-HD. Oh boy. Randy, ever hunt the Crazies, which is a mountain range over here in Montana, kind of north of Big Timber? I've hunted it. It's a tough place to hunt elk. Access is getting tougher and tougher. A lot of that checkerboard ground is now locked. A lot of the trails have been closed by where it goes through private land. It's a tough hunt. If that's where you're going, I would think about someplace else. I'll just leave it at that. First elk hunt. What are my top 5 pieces of gear for a first-time mountain hunter? I think we went through that last week, if I remember. But the top 5 pieces, none of them can be replaced by a mindset and an expectation. It doesn't matter. Some people will say, oh, my rifle, my bow, my scope, all those are super important. I would say a good pack, good clothing that allows you to stay out there for a long time, and definitely good boots. Those 3 things are what are going to allow you to go and hunt elk on these hard public land hunts. But more important than your equipment a lot of times is the mindset. The mindset that this isn't going to be easy. There's going to be days when it almost isn't quote unquote fun. But if you stick with it and you keep doing it, you're going to have success. And I don't care whether we're talking archery, whether we're talking rifle. That, to me, that's probably more important than anything that would be real equipment related. All right. What do you do when you can't seem to figure out where the elk are due to wolf and bear pressure in your normal areas? I live in wolf and grizzly bear central. I do. Southwest Montana, Yellowstone Park is right over here as the crow flies 60, maybe 70 miles. I have yet to have any of my elk hunts that I think were messed up by wolves or bears. Maybe it's happening and I just don't notice it. I have a worry or a feeling that sometimes if we're not seeing animals, we try to say, what is the reason? For me, I always say the reason I'm not finding animals is because, Randy, you didn't have a good enough plan that day. If I'm seeing scat, I'm seeing or hearing them, I'm seeing their tracks, I'm seeing their beds, I know this is good habitat, I know they are there. It doesn't matter that there are grizzly bears or there are wolves around. They have to figure out how to live where there are, at least where I hunt in Montana. From here all the way to Kalispell, from everything, all the mountainous country, there are wolves in every bit of it. There's no place an elk can go without being near wolves. So they've figured out a way to adapt. I do think that hunting and where elk are comfortable has changed as a response to the growth in the number of wolves and grizzly bears. It doesn't mean they're not there, but I think they have changed their behaviors a little bit. For me, I just keep working my plan. What is their need? All right, where are they going to go to satisfy that need? And it depends on whatever season they're in. So, How easy is it to get a leftover cow tag in Wyoming? Really easy. I would do it if I was you. They might all be sold out right now. Colorado might all be sold out. But both those states have a lot of leftover cow tags. Wyoming, you can apply in the first draw, which is deadline of January 31st. Your draw odds are almost 100% in that January drawing. Then there's usually leftovers that go on sale sometime in late June or early July. Wyoming is an easy place to get a cow elk tag. And I would do it. In fact, my bull elk tag, as of the 31st of October, is no longer a bull elk tag. It converts to a cow tag from November 1st, I think, until sometime in January. So I might go down and do that. An out-of-state person, an out-of-state hunter, what is their best way to try and find a good area to hunt without being there in person? Again, I think I just, without going into and being redundant, but I talked about two really good things, the OnX system and the Go Hunt system. Those are two vital research tools. Also, talk to biologists, be patient with them, understand that when tags come out, oodles of guys and gals are calling these biologists. They can't return all of the phone calls and still do all their work. But don't think just of the game agencies. Most people say, oh, I called Game and Fish. Also think about some of the land management agencies. Most of them have some sort of biologist who can tell you, okay, there's been a burn here, or there's this there, or what happened here. I make a lot of phone calls. I do a lot of emails. I try to talk with other hunters who may have had that tag. But make sure you know that the time you're going to be hunting. Because you might have a tag and you talk to someone who had it in archery season, but you're going to be there in late October. The bull elk are doing something completely different in late October than they were on September 10th. Make sure you are thinking about it in the context of, this is the time of year I will be there hunting. Without that, all your research is kind of just random. Some of it will apply, most of it won't. Oh, Randy, do you ever solo hunt? Not anymore, I don't, because I always have cameras with me. I used to do it a lot. I used to do it a lot in grizzly bear country. And I get a lot of questions about, oh, I don't want to go and hunt in grizzly bear country. What do I do? I really don't know what to tell you. If you live in Montana, Idaho, or Wyoming, the odds are some of your best elk hunting places are going to have grizzly bears. We've answered that question many times. We've done videos about it. It's just something you got to get comfortable with. And even if you're a traveling non-resident coming to these places, a lot of the non-residents email me and say, boy, I'm really not that comfortable in grizzly country. I get that. Then go someplace that doesn't have grizzlies or has a lower density of grizzlies, because you want your hunt to be fun.